I think when people say the word reality, what they're really talking about is some type of objective reality, something that exists beyond the personal experience, and I don't think that that's really even possible. I think that someone has to perceive it for reality to exist.
What is reality? What, from my perspective, is the only one that I can give you through my filter, because I don't know what reality is. That's too broad of a question. But my reality is what I make it. And I was taught, gratefully, since childhood, that my life is what I make of it. And I learned that I could creatively visualize my future, and that's proven to be true.
To me, reality is the ultimate illusion. And illusion is the ultimate reality. I project my worldview on everything I come across, and I want to see it mirrored back to me. But the only time I grow is when I see a reality that contradicts what I think is my reality.
My reality is not your reality. Now, we have kind of agreed upon a certain reality that everybody relates to. But even that one warps and weaves and changes on us. These are constructs that we have built over the millennia to give ourselves comfort.
All we know about reality, or all we can experience with regard to reality, is what's occurring within our own brain. The only way we experience the world is within the organ of our brain. What's occurring are a series of electromagnetic pulses and connections in a complex matrix of nerves. And we experience reality simply as a function of the correlation between stimulus from the environment and these patterns that are created within our brain. And you need to use evolutionary theory to explain what's occurring. And the driver of evolution is eating, preventing harm, and procreating. And how to best do that? How do you best make that happen? You best make that happen by planning ahead. You have the greatest success in those endeavors by planning ahead and thinking into the future. And how do you think into the future? You have to use your imagination. You have to imagine something that hasn't yet happened. You have to think forward.
I create my reality, and I consciously create my life. And the idea that all things come from thought, I find to also be very real. And there's a couple different spiritual practices that I have that I'm involved in, and meditation and visualization. And I think when these concepts were first introduced to me, I thought they were pretty, hokey, and that's ridiculous, and reality is this concrete thing outside of myself. But I found that that's not true. I found that it actually is the case. The law of attraction you hear a lot about. These things seem to be actually the way that the universe works.
I like to think of myself as an example that anything is possible in life if you really want to do it. You can do anything. And without the aid of drugs or alcohol. I'm living proof that no matter what you've done in your life previously, you can turn the page and you can start in a new direction. And if you give it everything you got, that anything's possible.
When I get on the highway and I see these angry drivers driving, totally irrationally in really dangerous ways, and I think, those people shouldn't be in my reality, and I get really angry. But I figured out that if I expect the unexpected or expect the saboteurs in my reality, then all of a sudden my reality is less confusing or less makes me less stressed out, less frustrated. Ram Dass, I think, is one of my favorite guys. He says that when you meet someone that you just don't like, either at work or one of your friends, you just don't like them, and because they need to change. But it's not them that needs to change. It's me. I need to change my worldview. I need to open up my heart and create a universe that allows for that person to be there.
So ultimately, the most important skill is the skill of imagination, of in the mind's eye, thinking into the future. The more you have the ability to imagine, the more successful you're going to be. Well, how do we spark imagination? How do we exercise our imagination? In the same way that going to the gym, you can exercise your muscles and grow your muscles, you can similarly engage in exercise to expand and grow your imagination. And there are all different ways to do that. One of the ways you can expand your imagination is through travel. If you stay in one place, you are sort of in a box, and that limits your ability to expand your imagination. If you travel, you put yourself in different places, different environments, different stimuli, and it increases the ability to imagine because you are receiving new and different stimuli. And by increasing your ability to imagine, you're growing your imagination. And travel is an easy way to do that. If you stay in your home small town all the time, you limit your imagination to the stimuli in that environment. If you go to new places and see new things, all of a sudden you start imagining new things, and your ability to imagine has increased. And as a function of your imagination increasing, potentially your success can increase along with that.
To create my own reality and create a life that has purpose for me and that's enjoyable for me, and it's not easy and it can be very frustrating, and there's trade-offs and there's compromise. We live in a society where you gotta have money to eat, you gotta have money to have a place to live, and a lot of the things that I like to do don't pay that well or pay at all.
Thanks for a good time. Thanks for the good wine. We couldn't walk a straight line, but we were fine to try. It's not about being saved. It's not about getting paid. It's about the friends we made.